Have you ever been in a situation where someone said something rude, and your first instinct was to defend yourself? To snap back? To say something, anything, just to protect your pride? Maybe it was a passing comment. Or maybe it was a full-blown insult. Maybe you were ignored by someone you cared about. Rejected when you needed acceptance the most. Judged when all you wanted was understanding. And after it happened, you couldn't stop thinking about it. It kept replaying in your mind, like a scene stuck on repeat. You'd lie in bed and whisper to yourself, "I should have said this. I should have done that." Wishing you had been smarter, cooler, stronger. Wishing you had handled it better. But now, imagine something entirely different. Someone tries to hurt you with their words. They want a reaction. They want control. But instead of reacting, you smile. Calm, still, unmoved. No flash of anger. No rush of adrenaline. No emotional chaos. Just peace. Stillness. Power. It almost feels like a superpower, doesn't it? Like you've unlocked something others spend their whole lives searching for. But here's the truth. This isn't about pretending. It's not about bottling up your emotions or wearing a mask. It's not about being cold or heartless. It's about something deeper. It's about mastering the one thing most people never learn to control. Your inner world. Your thoughts. Your emotional triggers. Your sense of self. Because when you understand yourself, when you're no longer a slave to the opinions or actions of others, you become free. Truly free. And from that place, you don't have to react. You choose how to respond. You become untouchable. Not because the world is kinder, but because you are stronger. So today, I'm going to show you how to act like nothing bothers you. Not by faking it. Not by shutting down. But by rewiring the way you think. Reclaiming your emotional energy. And building a calm, quiet, powerful mind that can't be shaken. Let's begin. Part 1. Why acting unbothered is powerful and healthy. When people hear the words, "act like nothing bothers you," they often get the wrong idea. They think it means you're cold, distant, or pretending not to care. They imagine someone with no emotions, no heart, just a blank face and a fake smile. But that's not what it truly means. Acting unbothered doesn't mean becoming numb. It doesn't mean you stop caring about life, people, or feelings. In fact, it means the opposite. It means you care so deeply about your peace that you refuse to let others take it away. You see, life is unpredictable. People will say things, do things. They might misunderstand you, talk behind your back, or test your patience when you least expect it. And in those moments, your reaction becomes your reputation. Your response becomes your power. Think about this. Let's say someone tries to embarrass you in front of others. Maybe they say something insulting, loud enough for everyone to hear. Now you have a choice. You can snap, yell, defend yourself, or you can pause, breathe, and choose not to give them what they want. A reaction. When you stay calm, when you meet their fire with still water, you instantly flip the script. They expect you to fall apart. But instead you rise above. That's not weakness. That's mastery. Psychologists call it emotional regulation. It's the ability to control your internal world, even when the external world is chaotic. It's when you stop letting your emotions run wild, and you start choosing which ones deserve your energy. Because here's a truth most people never learn. Not everything deserves your reaction. Not every insult needs a comeback. Not every battle is worth fighting. When you act unbothered, not by pretending, but by understanding, you protect your power. You become harder to manipulate, harder to provoke. And that scares people who rely on chaos to feel in control. More than that, people begin to respect you. They see that you're not fragile, that you don't crumble under pressure, that you don't let small minds disturb your big peace. It sends a message without saying a word. I am in control of me, not you, not anyone else. And perhaps most importantly, you feel better. Your mind is lighter. Your heart is quieter. You stop wasting hours or days overthinking situations that don't deserve your attention. You're no longer dancing to the tune of everyone else's moods. You're living by your own rhythm, grounded, balanced, unshaken. That's what real strength looks like. Not in shouting louder, but in choosing silence when silence is more powerful. Not in proving you're right, but in being so secure in yourself that you don't need to. That's why acting unbothered isn't just powerful. It's healthy. It protects your energy. It heals your emotions. And it helps you build a life that feels peaceful, even when the world around you isn't. Part 3. Simple steps to act like nothing bothers you, extended. Now let's break it down together. Step by step. Because emotional strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. The goal here isn't to fake being unbothered. It's to feel unbothered, genuinely, from within. To stop letting other people's energy steal your peace. And to start living from a place of emotional freedom. Here's how to begin. White heavy check mark. Step 1. Pause before you react. This is the foundation. You've heard the phrase, count to 10, right? Turns out, there's deep neuroscience behind it. When someone says something hurtful, when life throws you a sudden punch of disappointment, your natural instinct is to react immediately. But if you do, your emotions take control. Not you. So instead, take that sacred pause. Literally, stop. Feel the sensation in your body. Breathe in slowly for 4 seconds. Hold it. Then exhale for 6 seconds. Why does this work? Because your breath speaks directly to your nervous system. It tells your brain, I'm safe. I don't need to fight or run. And when your brain believes that, it calms your body automatically. This pause might seem small, but it's the space where your power lives. In those few seconds, you go from reacting impulsively to responding wisely. And that changes everything. White heavy check mark. Step 2. Tell yourself a new story. This is called cognitive reframing, and it's one of the most effective psychological tools for emotional peace. Let's say your friend sees your message and doesn't reply, or your partner seems distant, or a coworker gives you a weird look. Your brain starts making up a story. And often, it's a painful one. They're mad at me. I did something wrong. They don't respect me. But here's the truth. That story isn't a fact. It's a thought. And thoughts can be changed. So pause and ask yourself, what's another story I could tell here? What's a version of this that doesn't hurt me? Maybe your friend is overwhelmed. Maybe your partner had a stressful day. Maybe your coworker was just lost in thought. You're not doing this to lie to yourself. You're doing it to liberate yourself. Because the way you interpret events determines how you experience them. And the more you choose stories that bring peace, the more peace you'll feel. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about taking your power back from assumptions that cause unnecessary pain. White heavy check mark. Step 3. Train your face and body language. Here's something few people understand. Your nervous system listens to your body. So when your body acts like you're in a fight, your brain starts to believe it. But when you look calm, even if you're not, your brain begins to match that energy. It's like reverse engineering your own peace. So start practicing the blank face technique. Not to suppress emotions, but to master them. When someone tries to trigger you, relax your jaw. Unclench your hands. Keep your shoulders loose. Soften your eyes. Hold a gentle, neutral expression. You'll be shocked how much this changes the energy in the room. Because when your face and body don't respond, the other person feels it. They realize they can't shake you, and their power begins to fade. More importantly, you feel it. You remind yourself, I don't owe anyone a performance. I owe myself peace. White heavy check mark. Step 4. Write down what bothers you. This step is quiet, but deeply healing. Every day, or whenever you feel emotionally triggered, grab a journal and write. What happened? How did I feel? What thoughts ran through my mind? What does this remind me of from my past? What did I need in that moment? This isn't just venting. It's emotional excavation. Because the truth is, what bothers you the most often has deeper roots. Maybe it's not just that someone ignored you. Maybe it's the wound of not being heard growing up. Maybe it's not just that someone criticized you. Maybe it's the echo of past rejection still haunting your confidence. When you write it down, you begin to see patterns. You realize, this isn't about them anymore. It's about me healing me. And the more you understand your emotional triggers, the less power they have over you. This is how you stop reacting and start responding from a place of deep awareness. Because what you name, you contain. And what you understand, you can transform. White heavy check mark. Step 5. Practice calm in peaceful moments. Don't just wait for a storm to practice calm. Build the skill before you need it. Each day, take 5 to 10 minutes to sit quietly with yourself. Close your eyes. Listen to your breath. Watch your thoughts without judgment. Let stillness become familiar. Let calm become your home. Because if you can access peace when life is quiet, you'll be able to return to it even when life is loud. This isn't just self-control. It's self-respect. It's telling the world, I won't let anything outside me disturb the world inside me. These steps won't make you emotionless. They'll make you emotionally free. You'll still feel, but you won't be controlled. You'll still care, but you won't be shaken. And most importantly, you'll finally realize, you don't have to react to prove your worth. Your peace speaks louder than any reaction ever could. Part 4. What mentally strong people do differently. Extended. Let's take a closer look at how mentally and emotionally strong people handle difficult situations. Not just on the outside, but deep within. You'll notice something interesting about them. They're not loud. They're not overly reactive. They're calm, composed. Sometimes they say nothing, and yet they say everything. Why? Because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, and still, and deeply grounded. So what do emotionally strong people actually do differently? Let's break it down. Small blue diamond. They observe first. When chaos hits, most people react. They speak too soon. They assume. They lash out. But emotionally strong people don't do that. They pause. They listen. They watch everything carefully. Not just what's said, but how it's said. They pay attention to energy, body language, and tone. They let the situation unfold before they respond. This gives them a powerful advantage, because by the time others are reacting impulsively, they've already gathered information, processed it, and chosen their next move intentionally. They don't jump to conclusions. They ask themselves, what's really going on here? Is this about me, or about them? This level of observation builds self-trust. It helps them stay clear, even in the middle of emotional storms. Small blue diamond. They detach emotionally. Now let's be clear, detaching emotionally doesn't mean being cold. It doesn't mean shutting down, or pretending not to care. It means creating space between what happens and how they respond. They might still feel disappointment, anger, sadness, but they don't become those emotions. They understand, I can feel it without feeding it. I can acknowledge it without drowning in it. This emotional detachment gives them control. It allows them to say, I get to choose what I carry and what I release. And they release a lot. They let go of grudges. They don't take everything personally. They stop replaying situations in their head that are no longer happening in real life. This doesn't make them weak. It makes them wise. Small blue diamond. They use silence wisely. You'll notice something rare about emotionally strong people. They don't feel the need to explain themselves to everyone. They're not out here defending their every move. They're not arguing in comment sections. They're not proving their worth to people who've already made up their minds. They know the value of quiet power. Sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing at all. Silence can end arguments that would go in circles. Protect your energy from people who don't want to understand. Make your presence feel grounded and untouchable. They use silence as a boundary, not a punishment. They use it as a shield, not a weapon. And most importantly, they know, if I have to constantly explain myself to be understood, I'm in the wrong room. Their silence doesn't mean they're weak. It means they're in control. Small blue diamond. They don't overshare their emotions. Emotionally strong people know how to express, but they also know who deserves access to their inner world. They don't bleed in front of people who only came to watch. They don't hand out their pain like a brochure. They don't open their heart to those who haven't earned the right to hold it. They've learned that not everyone can hold space. And that's okay. So they become more selective, more intentional, more protective of their inner peace. They speak when it matters, and to people who matter. Small blue diamond. They take responsibility without shame. Here's something powerful. Emotionally strong people are not afraid to admit when they're wrong. They don't need to be perfect. They don't run from feedback. They don't blame others for their emotional reactions. Instead, they ask, "What's my part in this? What can I learn here? How can I grow from this?" But, and this is key, they take responsibility without shaming themselves. They don't spiral into self-hate. They hold themselves accountable with love. Because true strength isn't about pretending you never mess up. It's about owning it and rising anyway. Small blue diamond, they know when to let go. Not every battle is meant to be fought. Not every relationship is meant to be fixed. Not every story needs closure. Emotionally strong people understand this deeply. They don't chase people who walk away. They don't beg for validation. They don't cling to situations that drain them. They understand that peace is more valuable than being right or being understood. So they walk away quietly. Not because they gave up, but because they chose themselves. In short, emotionally strong people feel everything, but they're ruled by nothing. They protect their peace. They observe more than they speak. They listen to their emotions, but they don't become their emotions. And that's what makes them unshakable. Part 5. Acting unbothered in real life. Why it works, extended. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. In the real world, people test you. Not always with bad intentions, but sometimes just to see what you're made of. It happens in relationships, at work, even in your own family. They'll say things to get a reaction. They'll challenge your boundaries. They'll push buttons just to see if you'll break. And if you do, if you explode, cry, defend yourself, over-explain, they learn something important about you. I can shake this person. And once someone knows they can control your emotions, even a little, they might do it again. Not always to hurt you. Sometimes out of habit. Sometimes because they feel powerful. Sometimes just because they can. But here's the shift. When you stay calm, genuinely calm, even when you feel provoked, you send a different message. A message that says, "You don't control me. Your opinion doesn't decide my value. I'm rooted in something deeper than your approval." That kind of calm is rare, and people notice it. Small blue diamond, why calm people gain respect. In every social group, people silently look for the emotionally grounded person. The one who doesn't gossip. The one who doesn't explode. The one who carries themselves with quiet confidence. That person becomes a kind of anchor. People trust them more. They go to them for advice. They watch how they respond under pressure. Because emotional control is power. It shows you're not desperate for attention. You're not chasing drama. You don't need to win every argument. You're not bothered, because you're busy protecting your peace. And people respect that. Small blue diamond, why it stops manipulators cold. People who try to manipulate others often rely on emotional reactions. They might say something offensive, then act like it was a joke. Try to guilt trip you into doing things. Create conflict just to keep control of your focus. But when you don't react the way they expect, when you don't get flustered or defensive or panicked, you take away their power. They don't know what to do with someone who doesn't play the game. They may pull back. They may lose interest. Or, they may even start respecting you. Either way, you win. Small blue diamond, why calm energy attracts the right people. When you stop reacting emotionally to every little thing, something beautiful happens. You attract people who value peace over chaos. You stop being a magnet for drama. You start feeling more in control of your life. The right people will feel safe around your energy. They'll trust your presence. They'll admire your strength, even if they never say it out loud. Because acting unbothered isn't about pretending. It's about choosing. Choosing not to be pulled into every storm. Choosing to keep your power. Choosing your peace over the temporary satisfaction of reacting. Small blue diamond, this becomes your superpower. When you carry yourself with calm confidence, you become someone others can't manipulate, control, or break. Your calm energy becomes a silent statement. I know who I am. I won't rise to your drama. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. And that is real strength. Because anyone can get angry. Anyone can clap back. Anyone can overreact. But to stay cool when you could explode. To walk away when you could attack. To smile when others want you to fall apart. That's power most people will never master. And it doesn't just protect you. It transforms you. You become untouchable. Not because you're cold, but because you're centered. So next time someone pushes your buttons, don't let them pull your strings. Pause, breathe, smile, and remember, you don't have to react to everything. The strongest people don't need to shout. They don't need to prove anything. They walk with peace, and people notice. Seedling, if this video helped you, leave a comment below. I choose peace over reactions. Speech balloon. Hit the like button to support this kind of content. And don't forget to subscribe, because every week, we share new ways to understand your mind and master your emotions. See you in the next one.